what happened there, but okay. Well, there we are. Good news. We're live. There's Casper. He's coming up to say hi. We're glad you're here. Let me know where you're checking in from. We're going to gong ourselves in about a minute. Well, good morning, Reverend Tricia from Moore Park. Yeah, there's a Casper dog. There's a Casper. They can't see you when you're facing me like that. You got to go the other way. There you go. They can see your handsome face. Good morning. Good morning. We're glad you're here. Let me know where you're checking in from. We're believing we're on Facebook and YouTube. We're going to go live in 1 hour. Good morning, Pam from beautiful Santa Rosa. All right. Nice to see you this morning. Nice to be seen. There's a Casper doggy boy. All righty. All right, light workers, here we go. We're going to gong ourselves in. Okay, Casper, we got to get done now. Okay. I got my coffee. I got my Casper. I got my friends, my light workers joining us. Good job. Good morning, Arlen from San Clemente. Nice to see you this morning. Good morning. Good morning. All righty. All right, there it is, 8:30. Let's spend our 20 minutes together. Those of us who are here, let's get grounded by taking a couple deep breaths. We're going to take a big deep breath in. We're going to let out the sound ah and relax the shoulders. Here we go. Ah, and relaxing the shoulders, letting them fall gently. We do one more time. Good morning, aloha from Honolulu. Good morning, Missy Grant. From somewhere in the Midwest, not in the Carolinas today. All right, big deep breath in. Ooh, that was a loud one. What did the sound? Ah. Relax the shoulders and bring the energy up into your heart center. And we're just going to spend 20 minutes together. Good morning, Candace. Andrea McNeely is here. Nice to see you. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Candace from Palm Desert. We're glad you're here. We got a good morning. Good morning, Chris. Nice to see you this morning from Culver City Zone today. All right. Well, so we got some things to talk about. If you saw, thank you, Candace, for helping with the poster yesterday. If you saw the poster, it said, now is a good time. Now is a good time to surrender to the one. So let's remember the line that we've been sharing from the Old Testament, from the ancient Moses, who says, underneath there are the underlying arms, right? Underneath there are the underlying arms. And so what we know is beyond what's in the physical world is the meta, that which is in front of, alongside, or along with, or beside. And this is meta is consciousness. You can't see consciousness, it's invisible. It's the sum total of everything you've thought, said, done, felt, and it's reflecting from you at the conscious level and the unconscious level, subconscious level, returning to you through the law of the circle or the law of mind, which is how we're connected to the universe. What we see happening in the world right now, good morning, Carol from Whittier, nice to see you this morning. What we see happening now in the world is the movement of separateness. And that is the ego that believes that it is its own thing, that you begin and end at the top of your head and the bottom of your toes, and that's you're you and you're separate and you can do what you want in the world because it's not connected to anything. Well, that false belief created the eons worth of misconceptions and the misuse of the law of mind or the law of spirit or the law of consciousness, which has created war and prejudice and fear and doubt. And we are seeing that erupting boldly in the world right now. That's why there's so much fear and doubt and prejudice and separateness happening in the world. One of the acronyms for ego is edging God out. And of course, the big problem in the world, you come over this side, come over here, come on up, come on, you want to say hi? The big problem in the world is the separateness, believing that I could do whatever I want and not have it any karmic connection or any law, superseding law that's going to blame me for it. So if I don't get caught, then I'm okay. Well, the bottom line is there is no spot where God is not. There's no spot where energy and matter are equal and interchangeable. Energy manifests itself as intelligence. How do we know that? Because you and I have intelligence. We see intelligence in the world. We have discovered laws, and now we have intelligently applied the use of those laws. Before there were steam, there was sails, and there was water running downhill and canoes going with the tides. Before we had motors, everything is, we don't create laws, we discover them. Good morning, Jewel, from the center in Chico. Nice to see you. So this is the problem. Now is a good time to underneath there are the underlying arms, and I can surrender to those underlying arms, to trust that there is a superseding law. The laws of consciousness are transcendent. They don't argue with other laws, but they are transcendent. They go along with or beside, and they can transcend circumstances and situations when we are the people who are acting and surrendering back, falling back into those underlying arms, and not believing in the ego, which is my separate self. And here's how we identify the ego. The ego is identified, and we don't want to destroy the ego. This is not like you need a shell, you need your external body, you need to take care of your external body. If you stink, you need to take a shower. It's your ego that goes, oh, I think I need to bathe. I need to wash my clothes. I better clean the dishes. It's your ego that looks around and can see disorder and figure out what yours is to do. And you need that vessel, that body, that apparent separateness in order to function. So we're not trying to destroy the ego, but we're not trying to let the ego run the show. So there are two stories that I'd like to tell you that will help us get a fix on this. Many years ago, my wife and I were in Martha's Vineyard, and we had just come off of the boat and we were on the dock, and the water was very clear, and we could see the little crabs. Good morning. We could see hey Tara, nice to see you this morning. Tara, we could see the little critters, sea critters, fooling around, and there was a hermit crab. So we laid down on the dock and we were looking into the water. And the water was maybe this deep, not very deep, and we could see this little hermit crab had found two different shells, and he was trying them on. He was sliding his little body out and put it into the shell, and he'd be in that one, and he'd try it a second, and then get out of that shell, and he'd try the other shell. So the ego is like that shell. The hermit crab is not the shell. The hermit crab is using that shell as a vehicle to express its life. You are not meat attached to bones. You are a spiritual being who is using that shell in order to express your individuality. Your individuality was born in the beginning. I am that which God is. God is that which I am. I am is the connector of all your consciousness from any lifetime before and all lifetimes before, because in the beginning God and I am, and that's how long you have existed. And you have been spiraling up in your awareness because the I am, spirit is the only force in the universe that knows itself. And when we get to the point of self-consciousness, we are now able to use the law of mind because we are one with that self, and that which God knows is, I am born in the image of that, and that which I know, not which I think I know or think I believe, but that which I know is. So when I begin to know that I am born in the image and likeness of the One, that there is the pattern of the living Christ, the Atman, the Buddha, the high self, the pattern of wholeness, which is my name in nature, hallowed be thy name, right? Wholeness is my name. Wholeness is my nature. And when I begin to know that I am one with that one, and therefore that which I know through law, that which I know as that which is the only thing conscious, spirit is the only thing that knows itself. You are conscious. You know yourself. That's why for many years in my pulpit ministry, I had people touch their heart center and say, I am. Because when you say I am, nothing argues with that. Now, when we go deeper and say I am whole, complete, and perfect, I am one with the One, that ego self that edges God out says, no, I'm just little me. I'm not that big a deal. I don't have that kind of authority in the universe, right? And then the law responds to you by corresponding to you, and it looks like you have no power or no transcendent authority in the world. However, when we surrender back into the I am born in the image and likeness of the One, I am here because that which is the Father, Mother, God, that which is the male, female principle, that which is seed, soil, and plant, the seed and the soil interacted as my parents, and I became manifest in this dimension. I came from the light. I put on this coat of skins. I will return to the light. But I am manifest in this direction, and I have this shell. I am not my shell. I have a shell. Right? And what we don't want to do is say I'm not my separate self and I don't have freedom of volition. You certainly do have freedom and volition. But that which is source cannot force you to commingle with your own nature and draw your own nature, which is love, light, and truth, and then draw the higher power of the things that we believe in. We as light workers in the world, no matter what part of the world you're living in, we as light workers believe in oneness, in liberty, in justice, in equality, in freedom, in prosperity. And because prosperity gives me the freedom to move in the world. We believe in these things, and then we know that we can draw that which is the self of the I am that I am is shining its awareness, guiding me, helping me to spiral up, because I'm born, the more I am aware of who and what I am, the more and the source and I, the self and I, get to commingle. And so the more I am in tune with the infinite, the more I am commingling with the infinite, the more I'm able to draw on that power and use that power for good in my life. There's a power, the great philosopher from the last century, or something. There's a power for good in the universe, and you can use it, but you must align with it. You didn't create that power. You can be an avenue through which that power moves. That power is created you because Source loves itself, and it loves the discovery of itself, and it loves the discovery of itself as you. So every time you have an awakening, every time you get goosebumps or God bumps, or you can see through the mist a greater reality, every time you can appreciate the things in life that you love, life, liberty, justice, freedom, abundance, glory, laughter, joy, as Tehil Jajan said, the infallible sign of the presence of God. We should be comfortably living our lives and fulfilling our purpose and drawing deeper and deeper joy into our lives by means of our commingling, by surrendering back to the infinite. There is no chief executive, there is no dictator, there is no power outside of myself that has the ability to control what it is that I believe, what it is that I'm drawing on, what it is that I'm using in my life as the power. There's a power for good in the universe. Not only can I use it, but through my daily practice, I choose to use it. I choose to use it to make this the day, as the psalmist said, this is the day the Lord, translated as the law of life, this is the day the law of life has given unto me, and I choose to rejoice and be glad in it. What is that thing from the Course in Miracles? God is but love, and therefore so am I. So we're not trying to destroy the ego, and the ego wants two things. And this is how you can identify the ego. We have many aspects of ourselves. We have the part of us that has deep faith, and we have another part of us that if we put our attention to is deeply afraid. And what if there is no higher power? What if there is no source? What if I'm just alone in the universe? Well, those thoughts are possible. You could choose them. However, they're not true. There's no alignment with them. You are one with the one. I am. Claim it. I am. Feel it. It goes all through your body. When you really start to know I am, and then I am one with the one, then we know. Now, the ego wants two things. And we have an ego, just like the hermit crab has a shell. We're not trying to destroy the ego, but this is how I described it to my clients over the years. When my teenagers were little, I started teaching them to drive well before they had licenses or permits to drive. So therefore, the places you could drive were on private property. I taught our two kids how to use a manual transmission from the beginning. Their first cars had manual transmission, so I knew that they knew how to pay attention when they were driving, right? And they would occasionally, at 14 years old, before they had any permits or anything, ask me to drive, like we'd be on some public road, but nobody on it, and they'd ask me to drive. And I would say, no, you can't drive on a public road. We have to be on private property for you to drive and practice driving, right? So, and then they would be what teenagers tend to do. They'd be like upset and moody because they didn't get what they wanted at that particular moment, which is what the ego wants. It wants whatever it wants at that particular moment, and it wants two things. It wants to be right, and it wants more. So not only do they want to drive more. Not only do they want permission to go out, but they want permission to stay out later, right? I mean, this is the nature of being a parent and trying to help your children grasp the reality that there are laws in the universe that we can choose to cooperate with, right? So the ego wants whatever it wants. If it wants a dessert, it wants more dessert. If it wants money, it wants more money. If it wants power, it wants more power. If it wants to be right, it wants to be told by you again and again and again that you're right, and have other people tell you that you're right. So what we say to the ego is, I see you wanting to grab the applause. I see you wanting to grab the attention. I see you wanting to grab the power. I see you wanting to be center stage. I see you wanting to be center stage and wanting the spotlight only on you, right? And we have to be the one. The I am that I am has to be the one that sees that part of ourselves and says, no, you cannot drive. I see that part of me reacting to every movement. The mainstream media seems to use the president's name as if it were like everything had to be colored by that name. Well, everything is not colored by that name, even though it appears that that particular soul would like everything in the world to be colored by that name, and he's certainly making efforts to do that. However, that's just because his higher nature is not always steering the ship, right? His ego, that which is edging God out. I am the authority in the world. And what did the master teacher Jesus say? the Master Teacher Jesus says, I of myself am nothing. Meaning that shell without the hermit crab in it has no animation at all. It's a shell. It has already been evacuated, right? However, when the hermit crab uses it, it looks like the hermit crab and the shell belong together, right? And that's the way God has set us. We are set free to discover ourselves. We are set free to discover our freedom. We are set free to discover our unity with the whole. We are set free to be able to add, I am, and I am that which God is, and God is that which I am. I am not all of God, but I am one with that which is everything, right? And so then through Spirit is the only power that knows itself. I am that, and then I choose the direction. I choose to quiet my mind and listen to my high self, which is guiding me, guarding me, protecting me, directing me, and leading me into the paths of divine right action. I am choosing to align with that which is my higher self and to be led into the paths of divine right action. But you see, that's my choice. I could edge God out and go separately and say, I'm going to go attack the world, squish people over, run over the world, as opposed to knowing my good is bringing greater good to those who touch the arena of my experience. Good and more good is mine. There's no limit to the good that is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. It crowds itself against me, moves through me, multiplies itself around me. I choose to be an avenue through which good and more good is unfolding in me and as me and through me. But do you see, in order to say those words, you've got to be able to intune yourself to the one. So, which is why daily we quiet the mind through our meditation. We quiet the mind so that we can listen and hear, to know that in this day I am being guided, I am being led, I'm being shown the miracles of life. Miracles are normal. Miracles should be happening all around us. We should notice them, and we should be singing praises when we know them. When we get that nice parking space, when they seat us at a beautiful table at the restaurant, when the sunset does its beautiful thing, when the hummingbird comes around and dances in front of your eyes. When the sunflower blooms its radiance. There are so many ways. Good morning from Houston. Good to see you, Gail. So this is ours to do now. We are not going to give our ego authority to separate itself from source or to separate itself from others. Therefore, through me is moving this great respect for the God self in each and every human being. Through me is happening that which sees the light in those who are entrapping others. That there are those that within me can be an avenue of freedom, of love, of light, of liberty, of justice, equality, because I carry it in my heart, and the source and I are drawing. I am inviting the source to show me the way to be an avenue of that peace and that love and that poise and that guidance and that balance and that radiance and that joy in my life today. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. You're watching Coffee with Casper. We've been doing this work for over 5 years. We don't ask for money. If you'd like to send me a love note, you could go to newthought.com and send me a love note. All we ask you to do is share the video and invite other light workers to use this 20 minutes to empower themselves to comfortably live their lives and fulfill their purpose. The more each one of us is comfortably living our lives and fulfilling our purpose, the more we're raising the vibration of human consciousness and bringing forth the new era that we came to do in this time. You're a light worker in the world. Who you are is something magnificent and something very important. So thank you for sharing your light in the world. Thank you for being part of our collection of light workers each week in the world. And we'll be back next week on Tuesday. And there are videos out there, hundreds of them, to be found. And we want people to find them. And so share it any way you can in all your networks and everything else. And now this week, let's not edge God out. Let's know that I am one with the one. Let me draw that deeper peace, that deeper conviction, that deeper faith into my life, into the life through me then, touching my family and my friends and everyone who touches the reading of my experience. Who you are is something wonderful. And until we meet again, I invite you to go in the light, as the light and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Casper and I will see you next week. Bye for now. Okay.